As a golden dawn breaks over Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh in central India, the birds begin to call. They flit among the trees in search of their breakfast. A sambar reaches for the new leaves from the low branches of a tree. With fruit at arm's length, the monkeys can afford to begin their day in a leisurely fashion. Cheetal, deer start grazing in the vast expanse of grassland. The vultures swoop down to see if they can get a share of a tiger's kill for themselves. Suddenly, this tranquility is broken. Tension grips the air. Alarm calls ring out through the forest. The king of the jungle is on the prowl. The ever-watchful langurs send out their warning calls. Beware, the king is here. Bandhavgarh is one of India's most popular tiger reserves. The thick sal forests provide the dense cover that the great cats require to live in. The vast grasslands in which the cheetal herds live offer excellent hunting grounds for the tiger. Bandhavgarh's high tiger density has become a legend. Estimates suggest that Bandhavgarh has about 64 tigers. More than 2,000 years ago, several small human settlements developed in this region. Several monks lived in its 32 man-made caves. Eventually, the local rulers built an inaccessible fort on the top of the high plateau within the forest. At the entry to the fort, a 10th century sculpture of Sheshashaiya, or Vishnu, the god of preservation, was depicted in stone lying on his bed of a six-headed serpent. He seems to guard over the park, which is meant to protect the lives of plants, animals, and the complex ecosystem. A pool of spring water, known as Charan Ganga, lies at the feet of the gigantic monolithic sculpture of Sheshashaiya. The fort confronts you from nearly every forest opening in the park. As you walk into the fort, a large tortoise, one of the various incarnations of Vishnu, leads you to a group of sculptures of gods and goddesses that represent the 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu. A magnificent sculpture of the elephant god Ganesh is the centerpiece of the assemblage of gods. In the vicinity of these gods, overlooking the forests, peace reigns supreme. The forests of Madhya Pradesh form a large part of the great Sal forest belt that stretches from the central Indian plains to the northeast of India. These forests extend southward to the Vindhya and Satpura ranges. Sal trees are tall, straight, stately trees which usually grow together in large patches. Several other species of trees grow sporadically in the forest. The Sal forms shady groves for various herbivorous animals. The treetops are full of insects, birds, monkeys, and squirrels which feed on leaves and fruits. Several birds, such as woodpeckers, find their food in the tree trunks. At the base of the trees, the dry leaves form a thick, spongy layer, home to thousands of insects, worms, snails, and other soil animals. Together, these small animals break down the dead material into tiny fragments. Fungi act on this to replenish nutrients in the soil on which the plant life grows. The Sal forest is broken by patches of bamboo which forms a favored habitat of Bandhavgarh's tigers. The giant lianas, climbers, and shrubs indicate that this is a natural, undisturbed forest. The open grassland tracts of Bandhavgarh range from wetland-like areas to drier stretches on the higher ground. This habitat changes completely in each season. Every season has its own special features that affect the whole ecosystem. In summer, the herbivores have very little green plants to feed on. They start losing weight and anxiously await the monsoon to provide them with food. In the monsoon, the grass grows in abundance, forming a thick, impenetrable grassland. Animals form tracks to cross from one feeding area to another. The food they eat must give them enough fat to last through the winter and the dry summer months. This is also an important area for grassland birds. The low-lying, boggy areas form moist tracts in which several grass species grow. Storks use this habitat to look for snails and worms to feed on. It is also a favored feeding ground of the sambar. An important habitat and a major attraction for all the animals that live in Bandhavgarh are the streams. They are born on the hilltops as springs and waterfalls. The streams meander gradually down the slopes to end in the plains where they twist and turn through the sal forest. They provide life-giving water for all the animals. The streams join together, forming Bandhavgarh's rivers. By the time they emerge out of the tiger reserve, they become life support systems that provide water for the farmers and pastoralists who live around the tiger reserve.
In monsoon, when the approachability of the tiger reserve becomes reduced due to roughness and disconnected road network, the protection by elephants, which we spread throughout our area and allot them to various camps, and foot patrolling becomes very important during monsoon season. So all the officers, all the patrolling camp laborers and all the staff, they are required to move around the forest during the day as well as in the night to safeguard area from any possibility of poaching. During that period also we employ local villagers for our monsoon patrolling to support our existing staff so that the intensity of patrolling is increased.
Water holes in the forest are a key resource for Bandhavgarh's wildlife, especially in summer. Even after the rains, they are full of life. The egrets hunt for food. All the animals, including the tiger, langur, and deer, must visit the pool every day to quench their thirst. As the summer heat advances, the tiger needs to cool off and spends much of its time lying around in these cool pools. During the height of summer, most of the pools run dry. The few that remain are the only source of water for all the animals. The langur descends from the tree for a quick drink, as the tiger is never far away from these residual water holes. The adjacent forest becomes a place for all the animals to collect in large numbers. The innumerable interactions between different species leads to the formation of a large number of food chains that link plants and animals to each other. These food chains are woven into a complex web of life. The ecosystem forms a food pyramid based on the amount of energy utilized by various creatures. Plants create their own food from sunlight and absorb nutrients and water from the soil. The herbivorous animals feed on the plant life, and the carnivorous animals live on the herbivorous animals. The wide base of the food pyramid is formed by the great mass of vegetation of the forests and the grasslands. This is used as food by all the herbivorous animals. Cheetal, sambar, barking deer, langur, and all the fruit-eating birds and insects. The butterflies feed on flower nectar and in the process pollinate the plants. A multitude of bugs and beetles live in every nook and cranny of this incredible system. In the upper, narrower part of the food pyramid are the small carnivores such as jackals, wildcats, and birds of prey. At the apex is the magnificent tiger. Many of our wild creatures are now threatened by extinction due to loss of their habitat and poaching. Mankind has still not evolved a mechanism to recreate an extinct species. But we do have a strategy that can prevent the disintegration of a natural ecosystem by creating national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. This is the main purpose of creating a tiger reserve. The preservation of the whole complex ecosystem. It does not merely protect the tiger, but the whole ecological pyramid in which the tiger is at the apex. This intricate ecological system is a result of thousands of complex interrelationships between species of plants and animals. Some of these are yet to be studied, while others are better understood. For instance, we understand why monkeys and deer often move together through the forest as neighbors. When the langurs feed on the treetops, they drop half-eaten fruit and leaves on which the cheetal feed. From their treetops, monkeys can see the approach of a tiger long before the cheetal. Thus, they act as guards for the cheetal and alert them as the predator approaches. Butterflies are beautiful, but more vitally, they are important pollinators of wild plants as well as crops. Butterflies need salt, and they find this in the moist earth where the water has evaporated. The living web of life in the forests of Bandhavgarh unfolds before our eyes and reveals the wonderful interactions between different species. The tiger is the flagship species of Bandhavgarh. Each magnificent animal establishes its own territory in which it hunts for prey. Tigers identify their territories by marking trees with the scent of their urine. Other tigers recognize this scent and stay away from the area to avoid getting into an unnecessary and dangerous fight. The spider is an equally specialized predator. It builds its complex web and catches its insect prey with great dexterity. The barking deer is a shy species and is usually seen alone. The sloth bear is a lucky sighting as it frequents the more inaccessible forest tracts of Bandhavgarh. Among the common animals that you can easily find in Bandhavgarh is the wild boar. Even tigers keep away from a large, aggressive male boar with its large, sharp tusks. The vultures were once seen in hundreds circling the sky in Bandhavgarh. Now there are very few left. Within a brief decade, they have been reduced to a few dozen birds due to the toxic effect of the drug diclofenac, which is used for sick cattle. When vultures feed on the carcass, they get kidney failure and die. These birds were very important components of the ecosystem. They would clean up an abandoned, half-eaten kill of a tiger within a short time. Now it lies rotting for days. No tiger reserve can protect its wildlife, this unique animal, and its diverse habitats without the active participation of local people. As a tourist, you too can support the income of local people. Your guide and your driver are local residents. Respect their local knowledge. Befriend them. The Environment Educational Initiative of the Pune-based Bharti Vidyapeeth Institute of Environment Education and Research, the BIVEER, focused on gaining local support for protecting the tiger reserve through a school environment education program. BIVEER introduced young people to the importance of the tiger reserve. BIVEER has also trained the local guides and frontline forest officials so that they can interact knowledgeably with the tourists. The guards and guides were trained as nature interpreters to ensure that they can provide accurate information to tourists. Their wages are now linked to the information they have learned and their communication skills. Gradually, the BIVEER program extended to people of the villages around Bandhavgarh. They now wish to protect the tiger and its habitat as they can see the economic returns from wildlife tourism. Once a year in the monsoon, hordes of pilgrims take part in a fair that is held in the ancient temple in the fort. It is an age-old tradition. However, during the last decade, the number of pilgrims has increased beyond imagination. This creates a serious impact on the tiger reserve. It frightens the wildlife that is forced to move away from its favored grasslands. The pilgrims leave plastic and food waste along the way, which requires a major cleanup operation. Many tourists come to Bandhavgarh to see a tiger. If you only want to see the tiger, you'll miss out on many fascinating things that are happening in the forest every minute. As an unconcerned tourist, you could act as a major impact on the tiger's sensitive habitat. All the animals in the tiger reserve require seclusion, peace, and quiet. Please respect the rights of all the wild animals that have made Bandhavgarh their home. They have nowhere else to go. The Tiger Reserve is their only refuge in this region. You may not see a tiger on every drive into the forest, but this should not bother you. There's much more to experience. If you're a bird watcher, don't end up looking at only how many species you've spotted. Watching each bird's behavior can give you many delightful moments. See how the birds feed, fly from place to place, and warn other animals of disturbance and danger. And listen to their beautiful songs. If a tiger is sighted, you can perhaps get a closer look from elephant back. It's a memorable experience and one that you will never forget. Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve is a fascinating place. While your visit will give you a great wilderness experience, As a responsible tourist, it is your duty to protect its forests and wild creatures. You will enjoy your visit more if you respect nature in the Tiger Reserve. Please abide by all the park's rules to ensure the safety of its animals. The local guides are good interpreters. Take one with you and please follow his instructions. He is trying to ensure your safety and that of other tourists around you. It is dangerous for you to get down from your vehicles. It also disturbs the wild animals. See that the driver does not drive over 20 kilometers per hour. You will be able to see more animals and birds if you drive slowly. Speeding through the forest can kill an animal, which is a criminal offense. Don't let your driver blow the horn. It scares and disturbs the wildlife. Don't litter the park. There's a strict no for plastic bags, cans and bottles. They spoil the naturalness of the park and can endanger the well-being and life of the wild animals. It's a criminal offense to take anything out of the forest. Please do not chase or tease animals. This is their home. Leave them in peace to feed and breed. Never disturb an animal just to get its picture in action. It needs peace and quiet as much as you do. Don't smoke or light a fire. It can completely destroy the habitat in a short time. That has taken many decades of careful protection to attain its present natural status. The tiger's habitat is shrinking across India. We must try and protect as much of it as possible. You will take home many wonderful memories of the nature of Bandhavgarh. These memories will be an incentive for you to visit this wondrous wilderness again and again.